Hello, sir. How
Hello.
are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. So you're making it the first movie. Did you know you were going to be making two? Was it all like a signed deal to begin with?
Yes, unless I really screwed up with the first one, which was a possibility. I thought halfway through, I was like, yeah, they're not going to bring me back for. Here we are, 2 movies in.
When did you know that you got Pennywise right?
The shooting of the first movie felt like the character was kind of coming to plays throughout the whole process of it. And we shot the storm drain scene, which is the opening scene of the first film. We shot that the last day of the shoot.
It was the last day.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think, we worked on it all day. It was a long scene, and we got to a real, the kind of the closest as you get, the closest shot of that scene on me and in the storm drain. And Andy, we were just like, okay, do it again, and that was also the scene that I auditioned for. So it was a scene that was like so overworked for me. Mm-hmm. Like I'd been having it for so long and working on it for so long, and tried different things with the character with that scene. And then that take, we kept rolling. So it was a 5-minute take, and everything kind of just fell into place. And they were like cut, and like Andy came up with, and he was, so excited. He's like, we've been doing this scene for not only, a couple of months at this point, but also, 8 hours. And that very last take was just something happened. And I was like, okay, it's good that I figured the character out on the last day of the shoot.
And when did you figure the voice out?
On the last day of the shoot. Yeah, no, a little bit. It was a little bit like that,
Yeah.
So, which was weird, but we tried a lot of different things, and we experimented with things, even after, and when I was casted, and we, even during the days, we were like, oh, what if we try this, and what if we try that, and how does this translate, and how does that work, and everything. Yeah, and then it was a strange feeling, and it's not, I feel it on a lot of movies that I do. It's like that kind of feeling that you feel that you figured the character out on the very last day of the shoot, and it's not uncommon, because it is a work in progress. Like, you prepare for it and you come up with all these ideas for it, and then you have to kind of live through it and perform all the scenes in the movie to go like, oh, that's what the character's about. Sometimes you get it when you watch the movie. It's to be funnier. But yeah, I have a bunch of different recordings of early renditions of.
You have them?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
of Pennywise and his voice. There was always something there that kind of ended up being the real voice. But I tried like really low pitch, really high pitch, and then this kind of crackling, maniacal thing.
Would you wake up in the middle of the night, like with a recorder next to your bed, going, "Wait, I think I know the voice."
Yeah.
And start recording.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was it like looking up into the mirror for the first time and seeing yourself?
In the makeup?
Yeah, and seeing yourself as Pennywise.
Well, it was great because this character is so weird to prepare for, obviously. But one part that was completely new to me was that the makeup and the costume is such a big part of who the character is and how he acts and moves and talks and all of that. So I had prepared for weeks without knowing what really what the makeup would look like on my face.
Just the voice.
The voice. The voice and the laugh, but like literally filming myself and looking myself in the mirror, with doing the face, but and everything, but not having it on. So the first time we got it on was for a test shoot, and the whole process, I think it took probably like 4 hours to apply at that time, because we got it down to 2.5 for the first time. Took really long, but in every stage of the way, it was just me sitting, because you sit in front of the mirror, the vanity mirror, watching yourself, and every step of the way, I was like, okay, how does this work? With with how does it translate, and what does it look like, and I was fascinated. It was like, how does my face translate onto the makeup? So I would do the same thing then. I was just like, I would just film kind of myself doing the scenes and doing things and you kind of trying different things, and then look at it later, being like, oh, okay, well that's kind of cool and that's kind of cool, and
because it's almost like you're doing two faces, because you have your face, then you have the clown face.
Yeah.
You know what it's like you're working the. I don't know how to explain it because I'm not an actor, but
yeah,
like you have this clown face, but you're this kind of human thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and you get to see it in the second film without the makeup on, and like it's almost even more unsettling when it's a human looking like that.
Like, oh, that's what he looks like.
Yeah, it's like, oh.
So, where has Pennywise been for over 2 decades?
He's just hibernating and waiting to get his powers back. There's a the second film is very strange and abstract in a lot of ways, and rightfully it's doing justice to the book, which is even weirder and even stranger. Like conceptually weird. I mean, multiverse, and there's a turtle, and there's like a lot of very strange things going on. But there's a section in the book, and obviously we've all the actors in it, and me personally have used this book as kind of a Bible and tried to like decipher what the meaning of this book is and what Stephen King meant, and I'm not sure he knows what he meant anymore with it, but it's there, and it's amazing, and it's very out there, but there is a section where there's a short little chapter in the very long book where Pennywise is it's talked through Pennywise's point of view, and you get this like or its point of view, and it's this like very kind of basic, childlike, simple creature,
like Arrested Development.
Yeah, well, he's just he's just and he goes, these stupid kids, and they don't leave me alone, and and the turtle is dumb, and it's like it seems like a child wrote it, right? And and all he wants to do is sleep and eat and sleep and eat and sleep and eat. That's all he wants to do. So the 27 was a very long answer to your short question, but like those 27 years when he's been dormant, he's just resting. It's what he loves best, actually. Right. Comes back, he's hungry, he needs to eat, he scares some kids, eats them, and then he goes back to hibernation. And that's what he wants to do, and that's what he has been doing for millions of years.
How did Pennywise for you change from the first movie to the second movie?
Well, I mean, I wanted to have something like that. The first one was Pennywise in his kind of element, like it was more routine for him. Like, he comes back and he does these things, and then obviously the kids, for the first time he meets kind of adversaries that put him to the test and almost defeat him in the first movie, and that's never happened to him. So like the last line of Pennywise's last line in the first film is fear. And the way I wanted it to be is that for the first time, this creature has experienced fear himself for the first time. So that's sort of his journey in the first movie, that this thing that feeds off of fear and scares others, and that's kind of where he exists in your own personal fears. For the first time, he's been afflicted by the same emotion, and something changed in that. And then so coming back in the second one, he's there's something different about him, and being exposed to that, and we just explored a bunch of different things that may not be too apparent in the final version of the film, but there's a lot of ideas that I was kind of thinking about as Pennywise kind of coming back, seeking revenge, but there's this kind of masochistic idea that in the very end of the film, where when he does finally get defeated, it might be what Pennywise wanted all along.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Well, because it's I just thought it was a fun idea that you have this evil entity that's just, I mean, everything about what the character is just, you cannot like yourself, right? Like, you're so miserably angry and, maniacal, and he feels like this kind of, cancer. At least me performing it feels like it's just so much bad stuff that, I thought that for that being to exist, maybe what he actually wants, if, maybe existence is a torture for him, a form of torture for him. So him finding the kids and if you look at it that way, it's Pennywise wanting the kids to bring back the losers,
right,
and them all together
to kill him.
To kill him.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I mean, listen, as you said, Pennywise is like a cancer. He's just she. What is it? Yeah, I mean, what is it? It's vile. But then the movie deals with some really realistic, heavy material. I mean, the movie just opens with this horrendous gay bashing. So there's homophobia, there's domestic violence, there's body shaming, there's suicide.
Yeah.
What do you tell people they're expecting? They're going to go to a horror movie, they're going to be really scared, but it also leaves you thinking about a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, the movie is so abstract and out there, right? But the movie opens with something that is so very much a reality, and it's a very real scene, and it's very brutal and violent.
My husband and I looked away. We couldn't watch it.
No, but it's and I think there's a point to it that is what you get introduced to, and then that leads into this very kind of over the top, fantastical story. But what it's a little reminder that the it or the evil entity of it and Pennywise kind of lives in all of us, and it does take real root and form in society, and that is a way of setting it off. And I think, I mean, I heard somewhere that Stephen King initially, like, why he wanted to write the book was because a hate crime like that did happen. That is a very real thing that does happen. And then you get introduced to Pennywise the Clown as kind of the embodiment of that kind of thing.
So your last day on set, how do you say goodbye? What do you grab? What do you take home? Do you cry a little?
No, I'm not very sentimental that way. Like actually last so we did go back and shoot a little bit of additional scenes. So those ended up becoming kind of the last thing that we did with Pennywise. But the last scene I did was the scene. It's funny because I got this question like a couple of days ago, and I couldn't for the life of me remember what the last shot of the movie was. I think I was like, oh, it's my death scene, but now looking back to it, it's like that's not at all what it was. But the scene was where when Ben is getting suffocated by all the sand coming in, and I look down and I go, oh, you're like, and I close the clubhouse door on top of him, and I go, you fatty little loser, and I shut it and I leave, and that was the last thing that we did, and we played around with it, and Andy Muschietti, the director, he loves filming so much that like he just wouldn't call a cut. So it's like, do it again, and because he knew that was the last scene, the last take that we would do of the movie, and he was just trying to hold on to it for as long as he could.
That's awesome.
And then finally, he said his kind of trademark thing was his spit, and that means that he's got it. So as Pennywise, I spat into, or towards the lens at least, and then I handed Andy the buck teeth. So
nice.
So
the teeth.
He has the teeth. And I kind of regret that I didn't take them myself now.
Awesome, Bill. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is great.